and put together a warm welcome for Hayley Atwell.
Hello. Dominic is on his way, but I think he's doing his hair, so it's going to take a little time.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. It's fantastic to be here. Such a warm crowd.
Yeah, having fun?
Very much so, yeah.
Well, congrats on a wonderful couple of seasons. I think we're all in agreement that we would love to see the show come back.
Oh,
I know. It's great to see such a strong female character on TV, and we love you so much.
Thank you. Well, it means a lot. I mean, I love doing Peggy Carter, and Marvel is still so supportive of the series, so maybe it will go somewhere else, and we'll have it.
I think we'd be fine if any streaming service would pick that up. I think we'd be okay with that. Yeah. Before we toss it to the fans, I wanted to ask, romance aside, do you think that Peggy would have been Team Cap or Team Iron Man in this latest Civil War? I think you know what Dominic would say, but...
Well, yeah, of course. Well, I think Cap has a bit of an existential crisis in Civil War, doesn't he? And I think that he obviously needs Peggy. So I would say, you know, I'm not going to give up on Cap. He's my number one man.
All right, well, let's start over here with the microphone. We'll start on this side. So first up...
Hello? Hello? No questions.
How do you feel of Captain America joining Hydra?
You see, you know, when Peggy kind of ends her life and she passes away, I think obviously Steve doesn't know what's going on. I think he has a bit of an existential crisis. I'm not entirely convinced that he is all the way Hydra. I think he might be bluffing, or just trying to get more information out of the bad guys.
Hi, Hayley. I wanted to say I think you did an amazing job on Agent Carter, and I hope it gets picked up on Netflix, mainly because I really want to hear Peggy swear. But I wanted to ask, Peggy plays a lot of series, like she's a military woman in a time where that makes a lot of impact. Like first she's a code breaker, and then she's in the SSR.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you did any research on women in the military.
Yeah, well, the thing that obviously within the film, the franchise of the Marvel Universe, it's kind of, you know, she's quite unique in that situation, that you don't see many women having the roles that she has. But the research that I was doing was inundated with case studies of fantastic women who were fighter pilots as well as code breakers, and they were a lot more active and physical in the war than I think you know, our everyday audiences are led to believe. So I didn't feel that Peggy was on her own in that respect. She was just a representation of all the women that had gone before her.
Thank you.
I think that's what made Peggy, I mean, she already had such a strong, I want to say that now, don't I? Demeanor, strong demeanor, but do you think that she just had the ambition and the empowerment to be successful on her own as well, aside of, you know, that time period she was living in where women didn't have as much opportunity?
Yeah, well, in the second season of the show, you see a little flashback of her relationship with her brother, Michael, who obviously meant a lot to her, and of course encouraged her to become the woman that she ends up being, and not just going down the route of marriage. And I kind of get a sense from a little bit of that we've discussed about Peggy's background, is that she was kind of brought up to feel genderless, in the sense that she was around very strong, intelligent men, but also had a very strong, intelligent mother who was able to let her know that she was just as capable as the men are. And I think that's something that she kind of kept going with it. I mean, it was much harder for Peggy and harder for women to have the kind of say that men around her did. But I think that she just had this belief, as she says, that she knew her value.
Wonderful, yeah. We're on this side, right?
Yeah. Okay. Now that Peggy has finally kissed Daniel at the end of season 2, tell me, who is the better kisser? Enver or Bridget?
Bridget.
Oh!
Yeah. Oh no, I haven't answered that. I just reminded myself that I did kiss her. Well, this man.
No.
Your hair looks fantastic. I'm glad you took the time to do it properly. That's what we've been waiting for.
Sarcasm.
That's what we've been waiting
Is
for.
that why you told him I was late?
Yeah.
I wasn't doing my hair.
What were you doing?
Not telling you.
Hi.
There's loads of people out
I
there.
know. Lots of people.
Welcome, welcome.
Sorry,
We're
I'm
happy
late.
to have you.
I'd say
It's fun.
Dominic is definitely the better kisser.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Haley, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Easy voice.
Thanks. I was wondering, since you've played Peggy Carter at so many different stages of her life, I was wondering if there was a different headspace that you had to get into to play her at different points and what the differences were.
Yeah, the biggest difference in season 2 is when you see the flashbacks of her where she is struggling to figure out whether she should marry or she would go into the military. And so showing her kind of vulnerability and the sense that she's not a fully formed person yet. She's trying to figure out who she is. So that was very different, and I wanted to show kind of a much younger Peggy, mentally and emotionally. So then it gave her somewhere to go when you see her fully embracing who she is and her power. So that was kind of the biggest challenge.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Like you too. Have a great day. Thank you.
Over here. Hi guys. My question is actually for Haley. Sorry, Dominic, because you took forever to get here.
It's true.
Yeah, it took a minute.
I was stuck in an elevator, is the truth.
You were stuck
Yes.
in the elevator.
Yes. I did get rescued, yes.
That is fantastic.
Thank you.
My question. Since you've seen Civil War, Haley, I assume. If Peggy hadn't died, how do you feel she would react to Sharon and Steve?
She would march Sharon back home and ground her.
I think we're all hoping you'd say that.
Quite right.
Thank you, you're not disappointed.
Hi. I was wondering for Haley, since we learned from The Winter Soldier and the interview footage that was released, that Peggy married somebody that was rescued by Steve. And at the end of Agent Carter, she ended up kissing Sousa, who was in the war. So do you think that that person was Sousa that she ended up marrying?
I think that's why we need a season 3. Who knows? I mean, of course, yeah, Sousa was in the war, but he doesn't tell Peggy that Steve saved him, and I don't know whether that's because he doesn't know it was Steve or that if it was Steve at all, and so I think that's something that we'd have to explore with the writers.
Thank you.
Are you just kissing everyone?
Yeah, pretty much. Do you want snog?
I got embarrassed.
My question is also about Sharon. In season 2, we see that Michael, Peggy's brother, passes away in the war. So how does Sharon Carter even happen?
I think that's why we need a season 3. Over here. Hi.
Hi, I'm sorry. It's me, Vince.
Hi, Vince.
I think you think I'm following you by now, right?
No, thanks for the jewelry.
Didn't I see you in New Orleans? You're welcome. My question being, actually it was from season 1. My first question comment is, what am I gonna do at 9 o'clock on Tuesday after Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. go on? What am I gonna watch? And second, I believe Netflix is gonna pick you up.
Oh.
But the question is, I think everybody's asking for, when you got back with the Holland Commandos in season 1, how was that? That must have been like a lot of fun.
It was
I mean,
a
those
lot.
guys are really crazy.
They're great. I mean, especially Dum Dum Dugan.
Yeah.
He's amazing, and he's so funny. I mean, that's the great thing about revisiting a character that you played a few years before, because we did have a great time on the first Captain America, didn't we? And so you don't get that chance often in this industry. I mean, one of the nice things about these conventions, especially this one, is that we all get to mess around and be together for a while, which is great fun, and we genuinely, for the most part, kind of like each other. We have our moments, but So with the Howling Commandos as well, it was the same thing. To see Dum Dum again, it just was kind of bittersweet.
I have a question for Haley. You gotten to reprise Peggy multiple times, and you've really been able to dig in and give us this amazing, inspiring, and strong character. So what's your favorite part about playing Peggy?
I like that she's not a superhero, so she doesn't have any superpowers, but that makes her quite relatable because she has to use what's around her, and she's her wit and her intelligence. But what I also like is that there's a vulnerability and a warmth about her. She's not perfect, and that makes her so much more human and relatable. And at the same time, the thing about people who have courage, it's not that they are fearless, it's what they choose to do in the face of fear. And to see someone like Peggy, who is, the odds are always against her, and yet she taps into these deep resources within her that allow her to do incredibly brave things. I think that's quite inspiring.
Thank you so much.
I think the showrunner said that one of Peggy's greatest qualities is that people underestimate her. So,
Yeah, because it gives her somewhere to go. Yeah.
Exactly.
Did she change a lot from how you did it when? Because I found it really odd going back years later into a TV show, having thoughts about that character before. Did it change? Did she change a great deal? Do you watch the first film now and think that's quite a different interpretation of her?
Yeah, there wasn't much humour in her in the first one, and she was, and I found her in some ways quite stiff. And the great thing about the series was it allowed me to have a bit more space to explore different parts of her character.
Clowning work, I call it.
Clowning, yeah. Yes.
No.
Goofballing.
Over here?
Thanks.
Thank you. Great question, Dominic. So Dominic, what do you do to prepare for Preacher?
My hair.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Paige. I have a question for Haley. One of my favorite things about your character is her fighting style. Peggy has a tendency to just sort of barrel into people and use her brute strength, which I find is a little bit unusual for a female character. Usually it's more of a finesse. And I was wondering how that style was developed and who's responsible for that.
Well, that style was developed because I, Haley Atwell, have a lot of confidence and very little skill, which is quite a dangerous combination. I kind of threw myself around the room, and many stuntmen's testicles were harmed. But that's okay. It really kind of came out of that she uses a stapler to whack someone over the head because she doesn't really know what else to do. So it literally came kind of quite in her haphazard, clumsy way, but that she had. I also played rugby at school when I was a kid, and I was one of the smallest people on the team, so I would just throw myself at people and I'd run into them because that's what I was just like, it's a pitch, that's the ball, just run into people. So I would just kind of barge into lots of big legs in front of me, and yeah, it kind of gave me a preparation, the starting point for Peggy.
You did loads of training. You were always training, weren't you?
I was.
You did loads in the film. When
In
we
the
did the film.
yes.
Remember you were always running upstairs, practicing running upstairs. You taught me how one should run upstairs.
I didn't know before. Yeah.
Surely you've done it before.
But not in a kind of a cool, sexy way.
That's what you did.
Yeah, I kind of used to waddle up a staircase.
Yeah, it was good arms. You had good arms.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, like that. And then, but I noticed that on screen it makes you look like you're running faster if you move your arms really fast. So my legs would be kind of normal pace, but I'd be doing that, and then I just look
That's
good.
what you taught me. Thanks for that.
Hi, I'm a big fan of both of you, and I was just wondering, working with like the people you do on Agent Carter, it's a really great cast. Was there anything really funny that happened behind the scenes that we didn't know about, we didn't see?
Well, yes.
Where should we begin?
I think
Which one are you going to say? 'Cause I'm a bit worried about this. You can tell me.
Yeah. So there was a scene where.
Right. Hold on a second.
Wait, should I tell my version and you tell your version?
Well, I'll
start
nubbins in.
You'll nubbins
when I
in.
think
Okay.
I like.
So for some, Dominic and I were messing around, or we did a scene, and we ended up both on the ground. And another actor came and took a picture of us upside down, and...
When someone takes a picture of you upside down, you look very unattractive.
Yes.
Any human being in the world.
This picture of Dominic ended up being the worst photograph of a human ever taken. But this is the thing, Dom, is that you should, and this is a word of warning.
Is this
to
you
all
trying
of
to
you out
apologise?
there. No. The word of warning is never reveal your weakness, because Dominic hated that picture, so James and I decided to have it printed on everybody's t-shirt on the crew.
Yeah. What upset me was how you spotted how upset I was, and as I was requesting for the photograph to be removed from the said actor's phone, you eyed up the fact that I was weak in that moment,
yes.
And this would upset me greatly, and went ahead with the procedure.
I did.
And not only was it printed on t-shirts, but there are now phone cases, key rings.
I went on holiday last week, and I was in the Bahamas, which is very beautiful. And I, of course, had the phone case of Dominic. So that came with me. And I have the phone case stuck in the sand next to an iguana. I have it out at sea, just plodding along, bobbing up and down on the waves. You had a great time. You had a little tan. You were very popular with the ladies.
Was I?
Yeah.
That's
You love
okay
it,
then.
you love it, you love it.
I don't, I hate it.
Long may that joke continue.
And then various other things.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Did you at least get a shirt or a phone case or a key ring?
I don't want one!
No.
I look hideous.
There's a photograph of Dominic on the floor beside a man wearing the t-shirt of lots of Dominic faces all over the t-shirt, and then wearing a t-shirt on his head of Dominic, and Dominic's face beside it. It's a beautiful thing. I think it should be on your headshot. Over here.
Hi. Before I ask my question, I wanted to tell Dominic that I thought Chris Hemsworth's hair was beautiful today, but you blew him out of the water. And this question is for Haley. Do you think that Dottie could have been brought over to the good side due to her admiration of Peggy?
No, I think the great thing about Dottie is that she's Peggy's nemesis, and that she's a force for evil, and that's very much kind of what's been ingrained and trained in her as a Black Widow. But I think there's a respect between them, because Dottie is incredibly clever and Machiavellian, and Peggy can't help but respect that. It's just a shame that she uses it for bad instead of good. But I think that's what their equality makes them much more interesting to watch. And I think Dottie she is who she is. It's kind of asking like would Peggy ever go to the dark side, which I don't think she would. But keeps it equal.
Thank you.
And my question is actually for Dominic. Because of Tony's actions at the end of the Civil War, do you think, as his father, he would have approved of them? Were they justified because they were vengeful, or would he have understood that Bucky was not actually Bucky at that point in time?
Well, it's hard to think how a person who is thinking in the time that I'm playing Howard would be thinking in the future. But I think he would have approved of his actions and understood the situation he was in. Because Howard has to make some very, very tough decisions always, and often gets blamed for making the wrong decisions and making the wrong choices for either greed or for his own best interests. But I think that he's a man that understands difficult, tricky situations and understands the reasons people make those decisions. So I think he probably would have agreed and decided, I think. But that's for the other actor that plays him when he's older. Who's that? John. John can answer that. I'll get him on the phone. Quickly, get him on the phone.
FaceTime.
Was that the right answer?
Yes.
Are you sure? I feel like it was wrong.
That was a great answer.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, Spidey, I think you're our last question.
Hi, my name's Max. for Haley, but Dominic, I guess you could do it too.
That's so sweet of you. You're feeling sorry for me as well.
So since Agent Carter's dead, if you could be in another movie, what would it be, and who would you play in that movie?
In the Marvel world, you mean?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Anyone?
Sharon.
Good answer, ma'am.
Dominic?
Me, yeah. Anyone?
Who has good hair?
My son has quite good hair and a really good costume. No?
Yeah?
No? Is Banana Man Marvel?
I believe so.
Yes, him. Banana Man, please.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. We're great fans. Let's give
This video is sponsored by the Crazy Kings of Toys. Check them out for all your toy needs and find out why they are so crazy. Find them at Amazon, eBay, Bricklink, and Facebook. Links are in the description. For more Toxic Pop, visit our website at toxicpop1.wixsite.com/toxicpop. Email us at toxicpop1@gmail.com and check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/toxicpop1 and Instagram at instagram.com/wearetoxicpop. Links are in the description.